news. Today's news.
The Ghislaine Maxwell interview.
Maxwell did not implicate President Trump in Jeffrey Epstein's misdeeds.
Defunding vaccine research.
This will slow down this process very seriously.
FBI touts new numbers.
A significant decrease in violent crime.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, new information is emerging about what Jeffrey Epstein's imprisoned co-conspirator told a top Justice Department official in 2 days of interviews. CBS's Ed O'Keefe has details.
CBS News has learned Ghislaine Maxwell said nothing during her 9-hour meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in July that would be harmful to President Trump. According to a source familiar with the exchange, she told the number 2 at the Justice Department that Trump, once a friend of the late child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, did nothing in her presence that would implicate him. That revelation comes as sources say top administration officials are discussing whether to make public some of the transcript or recording of what Maxwell told Blanche. The president said he hasn't discussed the interview with Blanche.
I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her, or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
Trump also said he knew nothing about Maxwell's recent transfer from a Florida federal prison to a minimum security facility in Texas.
Well, I read about it just like you did. It's not a very uncommon thing.
The House Oversight Committee continues its probe with subpoenas seeking depositions from former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. In 2019, his office said that while Clinton knew nothing about the terrible crimes Epstein committed, he took 4 trips on an Epstein plane in 2002 and 2003.
President Trump says the FBI may have to get involved to send back Texas Democrats who left the state to stop Republicans from advancing a redistricting plan that could give the GOP a chance to win 5 more seats in Congress. The Trump administration is pulling $500 million in funding for mRNA vaccine research projects. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. calls the technology too risky, even though it's been widely used for COVID and flu vaccines. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
What the advantage of mRNA is it's much faster to make than a protein vaccine. It's much more efficient. And so when you're in the middle of an emergency, like a COVID pandemic, you want the fastest thing possible, something that you don't have to wait years to develop.
The White House says President Trump will announce today that Apple will commit to spend another $100 billion on domestic manufacturing, the latest pledge by the company to increase U.S. production of its products. New FBI numbers show a significant drop in serious crime across the country, from murder to aggravated assaults and burglary. CBS's Usher Qureshi looks at the story in one major city.
Deshaun Hill runs Chicago Survivors, a group that counsels families of homicide victims. At the height of the pandemic in 2021, her nonprofit was operating in a city where more than 800 people were murdered.
I don't have the same sense of anxiety about how many homicides they're going to have this weekend.
Now, murders in Chicago have fallen more than 30% from the same time last year. It's not just homicides. The FBI says robberies decreased by nearly 9%, and auto theft dropped by more than 18%.
Now to California, CBS's Jason Allen has the latest on the major wildfire burning north of Los Angeles.
The Gifford Fire continues to burn for a 5th day, consuming more than 80,000 acres in both San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties. More than 800 structures remain threatened, and evacuations are still underway. This fire is fanning out in all directions. Firefighters are trying to create containment lines using bulldozers, shovels, picks, and weed whackers to prevent further spread.
Overseas, the Kremlin says Russian President Vladimir Putin has held talks with Trump envoy Steve Witkoff just days before the White House deadline for Russia to reach a peace deal with Ukraine or possibly face new economic penalties. 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. It's 57 degrees in American Canyon, California. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody.